Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Join our boy Scotty G coming up today at RGS Exteriors from noon to 3, 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. We're going to talk to Mike Smith in a second. He'll probably bring me down on my big day because Mike is always doing something like impressive and cool that will make me think
something going on.
Will make me think that being part of Jerrod Calhoun's intro video was not as cool as I think it is.
That was Larry Bird's best man at his wedding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
he's got something like he played golf with somebody important, and by the way, shot probably like a 69.
But I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
that's
I'm excited
nice
for you.
All right, he's an analyst for K-Jazz, Jazz Plus. You see him alongside Alema Harrington, and you hear him right here on this show each and every week. He's our buddy Mike Smith. What's going on, Mike?
Hi, guys. What's happening?
We're doing well. Hey, I'm going to get your thoughts on expansion in the NBA. The vote this morning was to start to explore another vote, I guess, for actually taking bids to move teams or bring up teams now in Las Vegas and Seattle. A, what do you remember about your time playing when there was a team in Seattle? And B, what do you think about those cities for new teams?
Oh, that's some good thoughts. In my day, Miami and Orlando joined the league. So one of those teams joined like maybe the year before I got there, and then Orlando joined the next year. I'm all for it. I do think that the quality of play goes down a little bit in general for the whole league. That's just natural, right? You're spreading out the talent. In my day, there were maybe 300 players. Now there's 600 players. We're going to add 2 more teams, so 640 basically. But that's okay. Seattle deserves a team. They were a great city. I don't know about Seattle today. I've been there a long time, but I always loved going there. And Vegas always just seemed inevitable, right? Like when the WNBA went there and the NFL went there and hockey, it just seems like, it was eventually going to get there. I think they will totally support a team. I think Seattle's dying to support a team. I think all those things are good. And yeah, like I'm all for it. I think it evens out the numbers. Right, playoff-wise and division-wise, doesn't it make it better? Won't we have a little bit more of a NFL configuration with 32 teams?
Yep.
Mike, listen, I am very pro Las Vegas. I love Vegas. I'm fine with sports being there. I'm excited about it. They've embraced it. But I'm curious too if you are comfortable with specifically the NBA's evolving relationship with the world of gambling.
I think whoever is going to gamble and do it inappropriately or illegally is going to do it. And like the NBA has embraced, right? Betting on games, as long as you do it properly and through a qualified source and where it's legal. I know we, the employees, can't be involved in any of that, which is totally fine. I'm sure you and Ben and I all go through little continuing education policies and seminars where we have to sign things and say we won't gamble or even give aid to friends who might bet. Ben
only plays craps in alleys. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's really tough to track.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it's an issue.
Okay.
If I go down the rabbit hole of thinking that games are fixed and drafts are fixed and things like that, then I don't think I'll sleep so well at night. So I'm going to take comfort maybe staying removed from it and thinking that the draft truly is a lottery and that games are officiated properly and to the best of their ability. And I do believe that. I know there's been a Tim Donaghy scandal in the past. I know there's been other speculation, but I just don't. I know the Chauncey Billups, Damian Jones thing is different too. And that's going to play out here shortly, probably, hopefully. By the way, I loved Chauncey. Was one of my dear friends, which is kind of crazy. Like, I thought the world of Chauncey. I think most of NBA family thought the world of Chauncey. And I probably still do. I'd like to hear his side of things before that ever comes out.
One of the things we have seen on the court that's been a good late season development is the play of Ace Bailey. He's been on an absolute tear, a truly historic tear, and has a chance to extend it tonight against a shorthanded Washington Wizards team and a shorthanded Jazz team. What have you seen from Ace over the last few games since we last talked that maybe has most impressed you?
Just more aggressiveness. Like, I've been a fan early on from his ability standpoint. I think he's a fantastic shooter. I think he's a better scorer than shooter. I think he has great cuts to the basket. I think he's got a great nose and knack for the ball, where it's going to bounce, like offensive rebounds and things like that. He's incredibly gifted, like physically. He can leap. He can hang in the air. He can time blocks. All that stuff, God-given or not, really he has in his back pocket and just helps him become a fantastic player. Like, if he had done this from the get-go, which was probably impossible to do given the way the Jazz started and who was playing, and I know he started those early games, had a couple knick-knack injuries and an illness or two, but he's really hit his stride with the opportunity. And so it's kind of cool, like, to see what he's done. I think the last 3 games, I think he's the only rookie ever. No, not true. He's the only teenager ever in a 3-game span to score over 90 points and have 15 or more threes. How about that? That got me thinking. Okay, in the last 4 games, he's made 23 threes. And I'm like, okay, let me start looking at the greatest shooters of all time. Did Steph Curry ever in his rookie year have a 4-game span where he made 23 threes? The answer is no. So he's on to some good stuff. And Alema can back this up, but like 2.5 weeks ago when they played Washington, he went for 32. I said, Alema, like the cellophane bridge that's over the cup when you putt on a golf course, that the lid is off, buddy. The lid is off. Ace will now score 20 every night and possibly 30, 3-4 more times. He's like, really? I'm like, yes. Like, you have to first see yourself do it. And once you do it, you're like, oh, I can get there. Like, I can do that again. That wasn't that hard. It's a real, I know I belong kind of moment. And I know he knows he belongs because he's always belonged at every level. And then the 5th pick validated that. But now, to see yourself, and whether it's against an A team or a B team doesn't matter, but to see yourself do it at that level and say, oh, I can score 30 in the NBA, it's a different aha moment. It's not an I belong moment. It's like, oh, I can do it at that level. Oh, I'm going to do it again. That's why when he warms up and goes out on the floor and takes the floor, you'll see him tonight, he's super excited. Like, he cannot wait for the game to start. I never experienced that in the NBA. I was excited for every game in the NBA and what opportunities would come. And there's a stretch where I started like 8 games in a row. I was excited, like, through the roof for those. But, like, I can relate it to college when I was, nearly scoring 30 a game. I could not wait for the game to start. I remember those feelings. I would get to the arena, the Marriott Center, at 3:30 for a 7 o'clock game. 3:30. And then I would do my whole deflate gate with the game ball and get it the perfect, pressure. And then I would pull that game ball aside after I'd shot with it for an hour and a half. Then I'd go put it in the referee room so nobody touched it. It was a whole deflate gate ahead of deflate gate. It was kind of cool.
Now, Mike, I know you and Alema there sometimes get a little distracted when Will Hardy's giving his post-game presser because you've got to get your mascara redone or something. But I'm curious if you heard him last game talking about, or maybe it was 2 games ago, the attention that he's giving to the 10-day guys and the new guys on the roster, and saying that it's tempting to be distracted, but he felt like he owed it to them to give them the attention for, getting their NBA moment and that sort of thing. And I was curious, as a former player, what do you think about that with a coach saying that?
Well, I mean, if you're asking me what do I think about him paying attention to them?
Well, I just wonder, if I were
job description.
If I were a 10-day guy, right, and I'm playing for, Red Arbach, he's probably not giving me the time of day. You know what I mean? Or you're trying to, hey, coach, what do you think about my jumper? He's like, well, who are you again? and I guess a coach, an NBA coach, making a concerted effort to give them the attention they deserve. I don't know. Is that something that's common? I mean, do NBA coaches really, take time to coach 10-day guys that probably won't be back with the team?
Like if they're doing their job, they do. Like I would say it's part of the job description.
Yeah.
I would say Will answers to, Danny, Justin, Austin, and they hired him along with Ryan, and so if they've put their stamp of approval on a 10-day guy to come in the case of, Bez and Bang, a second 10-day, like, let's take a real look. I'm sure the message from above is, Will, you don't need to spend 5 hours with this kid, but put him in every drill. I want your opinion after this season ends. I want to know what you think. How did he handle timeouts? How did he handle defensive assignments from your perspective?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool, and I think he should. And I would hope that all coaches would do that. I'm sure there are many who haven't or don't. I don't know. I've had very few coaches that I thought were genius. And I've interviewed very few coaches I thought were particularly great. I thought the majority of them were pretty average. And I'm a cerebral guy. I'm a cerebral player. I wanted more. In the words of Kobe Bryant, I wanted to be coached. That's why when Mike Brown showed up in L.A., Kobe got him out so stinking fast. Like, honestly, Mike Brown is a great interviewer. And I spoke with Jimmy Buss one day at the golf range in the summer in Orange County, California. I said, why'd you hire Mike Brown? He goes, he wowed us. He wowed us. Like, he came in so prepared for that interview. He got out his computer and he started drawing up plays on the board, and he went through every player. It was a 2-hour interview, and we've never had anyone that prepared. I go, yeah, but like you got to see through that stuff. And I got nothing against Mike Brown, but he's got the Knicks playing okay. But Kobe saw through it, and Kobe wanted to be coached. Kobe wanted Phil Jackson. Kobe wanted a higher level. I am saying that in the light that I'm impressed with and really respect the effort, mind, and attention to detail of a Will Hardy. So I was not going down the road that he's one of the average. I think they've found a gem in Will Hardy. I think he can coach. I think next year we're really going to find out how good a coach he is. But I think when given the chance with the roster he's had, he's always overachieved against all odds. And I can't wait to see what this team does next year, not only personnel-wise, draft-wise. If any of these 10-day guys keep or stick, if they make any moves. And then, of course, Will with a full deck in his hand to say, okay, here we go. Playoffs or bust. Let's go get one of the top 4 seeds. Anyway, Jake, you're really good at your questions because you ask one and it just takes me off somewhere.
Well, I'm glad. And, Ben, I told you, playing golf with Jimmy Buss. See, I'm riding high today, Mike, because I was basically highlighted in Jerrod Calhoun's coaching video introduction, and I said, I'm riding high today, but you'll have done something cooler that will make me not feel as important.
Well, I was not playing with Jimmy Buss, but we were hitting balls next to one another on a range in Orange County, California.
See?
And yeah, he turned and asked me, he goes, how do you make the ball do that? And I said, I don't think you can.
You clown Jimmy Buss? That's incredible. That's my new favorite Mike Smith. That's my new favorite Mike Smith story right there. That's a great line.
Hey, Mike, you did touch on it. A lot of the rosters that Will Hardy has coached have been pretty sparse. Just injury, holding guys out, whatever it is. Next year he's going to have the total opposite problem, which Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Lowry Markkanen, Jerrod Jackson Jr., likely Walker Kessler. Like, that's a loaded starting 5 compared to most in the NBA. Ace needs every opportunity he can to develop. Keontae's still developing. Lowry can score 27 a game. Jerrod Jackson Jr. might be the actual best player on the team. Walker's going to want touches. How do you see that working out? I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches. It's not a bad problem to have, but there are some question marks.
Yeah, I mean, but he's kind of set the tone early on, like play hard for me and pass the ball, or otherwise you won't. And so that's the rules he lives by. So you kind of got to fall in line and do it. And he's in a position next year to say, hey, we do have, a plethora of talent and scoring. And it is unthinkable that 4 guys could score 20 a game, right? I don't know that it's ever happened on an NBA team. It's just, but you got guys who are capable. Ace could do it. Keontae certainly can do it. Lowry and Jaren's hovered around that number for the last 3-4 years. But if they buy in, and my guess is they will, no pun intended, probably because of the dearth of wins that have, been the result of the last 4 years, he's going to preach winning and team ball over any of that. And in today's NBA, I feel like everybody who can play gets paid. It's not like in my NBA where guys, you had guys in a contract year shooting the ball every time they touched it to get numbers because they wanted to get paid. I just don't feel like that's the case. Like, I feel like you can play or you can't, and if you're a starter, that's great. You're going to get paid, and you're going to get paid so handsomely, it might not matter who scores. That's a good thing. I don't view Lowry as a selfish player. I don't view Keontae needing to score 28 next year if he scored 24 this year, if that makes sense. Jaren's going to still be Jaren. He's going to hover around 18 to 20, his 5.5 to 7 boards, 1 to 2 blocks. He's going to be who he is. Ace will make the biggest jump. You're adding a guy to the starting lineup next year who's going to not demand, he's going to command 15 to 17 points a night. He's just that good. Walker will be Walker. Certainly doesn't need to score on this team. And then watch out for whoever they draft. If we get a top 5 pick in this draft, it's going to be a good player. I'm super bullish, in case you can't tell, on next year.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm excited for next year. It's a little premature to get excited for next year, but it's going to be fun.
I've got a college question for you, Mike. Hubert Davis is on his way out there at North Carolina. And when Kentucky moved on a couple of years ago, I was shocked at how little interest there was from big name coaches. I mean, no offense to Mark Pope, but he was 4th or 5th down on their list at very least.
Right.
How good of a job is North Carolina? And do you expect any of these big college coaches to leave for Chapel Hill?
I don't know enough, Jake and Ben, to be an authority on this. Like, I love the college game. I've lost some interest in the college game with the one and dones, and I've lost some interest in the NIL stuff, and there's nothing holding these kids accountable or forcing them to stay at the school or get a degree. So it's not that I don't love this time of year. I love watching the game. Like, I'm a huge fan of the game, always have been. So I love that. It's really a difficult job. It feels like you got to have North Carolina roots to go there and coach. It just has felt that way. I guess was Hubert there 4 years or 5 years?
5. Made the championship game his first year, and then never replicated the success.
Right. Yeah. It's a tough one. I mean, if I were in that realm or in that field, I'd put my name in the mix. I'm not going to get that job. I got no ties to Carolina or MJ. So, I don't know. It's not easy, but those are high-paying gigs. And you got to step up. You got to deliver. You got to deliver the players. I kind of feel like if you get good players, you can be a good coach. There are the rare exceptions. There are the Kelvin Sampsons of the world that can do it with all sorts of talent. But, by the way, both those the next 2 days are my favorite 2 days in all of college basketball. 4 games each day are my 2 favorites every year.
And they're
I don't
loaded.
know what you call it.
Yeah, the games
it's not
are loaded.
The quarterfinals, right? It's the round before the quarterfinals, but it's just and they're loaded. Like, every game is just going to be fantastic.
Hey, Mike, you touched on something. I'm curious. I'm not that I've ever played at a high level of any kind, but I hate the modern NBA basketball. I mean, the actual ball itself, it feels really plasticky to me. I think people would be surprised at how hard the ball is and how slick the ball is. It's not like this fine leather. What was the ball like when you played? You mentioned Deflategate and liking having a preference. What was the ball like when you played, and what do you think of today's ball? I'm sure you've held it.
The ball when I played was the most awesome ball. So it was that Rawlings NBA authentic ball, the indoor ball. It was just, I don't know. We had racks and racks of them, and you had them at all levels of being broken in. And the captains would choose the one that was going to be used for the game ball that week, kind of. And so it's funny, we would scrimmage with that ball and then pull it aside for all other drills. Does that make sense? It's kind of weird. But we were kind of ahead of our time that way. So Bird or McHale or Parrish or DJ would get the ball the way they wanted, or the one that was worn in the most. Not necessarily most, let's say to the perfect degree. So it was more brown than orange in my day. And the new balls just got used for shooting and drills and stuff like that. And they got worn in periodically, just like the same pair of shoes. I never understood how the guys could wear one pair of shoes and throw them to fans. So I had one pair of shoes perfectly worn in that became my game shoe with a custom orthotic. And then I practiced in a variety of others at different levels, right? And kind of got them to the stage where they were game shoes. So always in my locker, I had 5 game shoes and I was breaking in the others. It was the same way with the ball. The little 1 year or 2 year when they tried with that stupid ball was awful. That was terrible. That was a Rawlings ball. I don't remember the texture of that, but it was tearing fingers up. And then this ball, to your point, Ben, I have gone down on the floor and dribbled it and held it. Alem and I did a clinic the other day, and I was doing trick shots for a group that paid to come see the facility. And that was the first time I was really shooting the new ball. And to your exact point, I felt this is hard and slippery. Now, I have small hands. And, you know, I'm not gifted with Dr. J or Kawhi hands, but I think that made me a good shooter. But I successfully performed some of these trick shots. They were pretty blown away. But that was my gut reaction, was exactly what you said. I go, oh, I wouldn't have liked this ball in my day. I wouldn't have liked it. But I think we got spoiled by the other one.
Mike, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, Mike.
You got it, guys. See you tonight.
We'll see you tonight, buddy.
Just feels cheap. The ball feels really cheap. It's weird.
And I turned to Jimmy Buss and I said, Jimmy, what are you doing? Why are you hiring Mike Brown, man? I'm just picturing Mike do that.
I'm picturing Mike, because Mike there is tall, and then there's like Mike tall. Like there are
Mike's
guys
6'10", every bit of it.
And every bit of it.
Yeah.
There are guys who say they're like 6'8", and I'm like, I don't know, man.
Are you?
And there's also just a weird difference in, like, some guys really are 6'8", and then there's like a different type of tall. Mike is enormously tall. I imagine Jimmy Buss asking Mike how he hits the ball that way, and Mike getting over top of Jimmy Buss like your dad teaching you how to swing a baseball bat.
Would be so funny.
You're doing it wrong.
Wait, what did Mike say he said to him, though? He says,
So you can't hit it like
you
this.
You can't hit it like that.
Well, Jimmy's a little guy, and Mike's
How do you hit it like that? You can't.
You can't.
Oh, I'd love to clown Jimmy Buss to his face. I bet that's an unbelievable feeling. What audio clip?
From that Cincinnati stole.
Well,
I
we'll play
found
that before the end of the
you
show.
did?
I found what
okay.
it's from.
Christian gets in our ear like it's breaking news.
Yeah, I found this audio clip. I was like, Mike at the driving range
Sorry,
with Jimmy
no,
Buss?
I've been searching for this for the past
High and low.
hour and a half.
Okay, and you found it. Well, we've got What You Got Wednesday up next, but we have an open segment at the end that we can figure out the origin of Jake's fame.
Well, Jimmy, let me just get behind you here and show you exactly how to. Well,
Too much hips, Jimmy.
see, you're not opening.
You're
You're
not
not
opening it up.
firing.
Yeah.
Let me show you how to fire
your
those
glutes.
hips.
Yeah. Jimmy, your glutes aren't firing.
What You Got Wednesday is next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
What
You got Wednesday, what's the deal? Jake's got rules, Ben's out to steal. Bozo takes their spinning around. Flush it down, flush it down. Emo skater Ben with a devious grin.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty G live on Friday from noon to 3 at the Grill. Hanging out with the good folks at Bar W Beef, 2264 South Main Street, right there in Nephi. Go hang out with our guy. It's time for What You Got Wednesday, where Ben and I go head-to-head in 2 5-selection drafts, one sports-related, one not. Then we put it out to the good folks, sometimes online, for a vote. What happened last week, Christian?
Building your best local college basketball team all time, Ben won 55-45.
Close.
And notable trophies / awards. Jake won that one 73-27.
So I have the sports one this week, and you have the non-sports one
I believe that's the case.
this week. Okay. What is our sports-related topic?
This one will be real easy for you guys. Sports topic today, we're going to go best all-time college basketball coaches.
A slam dunk.
Well, one everybody debates, right? Is there a hands-down number one pick?
I don't think there is.
I kind of do.
I think there are 2 picks that are kind of obvious at the top.
And I don't even want to do this really, but I'm going to go with Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah. I think he's the right answer. That's why I have number 1 on mine.
I mean, I loved Grant Hill when he was at Duke, and my first ever the only like NBA shoes I've ever bought were Grant Hill's Filas.
Okay.
But I don't know. Something bugs me about Mike's squeaky clean image that I don't really buy. But Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah, I think it's totally fair. I think it's probably the right answer. He kind of modernized how recruiting goes right now, leaned into the one and done at some point, won throughout his career, one early, one late. I think it's the right answer. And I will go with John Wooden, which is the only other name I think that is in the running for one of these top 2 spots. Just has probably the greatest college basketball teams of all time during his run at UCLA, the greatest stars. But does the exact same thing. Has this like kind of bizarre identity as being crystal clear, ran a clean program, which everybody knows is actually not the case at all.
No.
Paying all of these guys to go to UCLA, which is how he got them all. They were cheating more maybe than anybody ever to get the world's greatest players.
But he did coach Mark Eaton.
Yes, he did.
We miss Mark. Mark was a great
Yeah.
dude. All right, I'm going to go with Dean Smith, who may be my favorite coach of all time.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. North Carolina basketball. I mean, North Carolina's coming open at one point. I mean, he was the legend at the best job, and I don't know. He's just maybe it's the Carolina blue uniforms.
Sure.
Ben. I don't know, but old Dino Smith.
Sure. Michael's coach, beloved, certainly. I wonder if this is too early for my guy. I do think he's probably been the actual best coach when you talk about on the court for the last several decades. I think Tom Izzo really belongs in this conversation. Tom Izzo, he's a little curmudgeonly. He's kind of a classic college basketball coach. I do think we were talking to Mike Smith in the last segment, like coaches that actually coach. Tom Izzo really coaches. He is like a real in-game coach. He is on his players. He makes his players better. He's won at Michigan State. I think he only has 1 national title, which might be where you ding him, but he's a really good coach.
I've interviewed him before.
Have you?
Yeah. He was a really good interview. I'm with you. Tom Izzo's great. Here's another coach I absolutely dislike, but I mean, you got to draft him. Gino Auriemma.
Okay. We're going women's game as well.
College basketball coach.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing the women as well.
Well, I don't know. You want to veto it?
No, we can go with that.
I mean, well, anyway, I like him. But, yeah, the amount of winning he's done is pretty wild.
Okay. I think that's the no question answer. He's the greatest women's coach of all time. Certainly won the most and had several runs where they went undefeated. It was just crazy how dominant they were. All right, along those lines, I'll go with Pat Summitt then. If we're going to bring in the women's coaches,
I
I'll
like
go with Pat Summitt.
Pat Summitt way more than I like Gino.
Yeah.
But I think the answer, best coach ever in the women's game, is probably Gino.
I think you're right.
I like what's her name though. She's my Mulkey. She's my absolute.
You're a big Kim Mulkey
my
fan.
absolute favorite. I'm gonna go with why not Roy Williams. I'm gonna have two Carolina guys.
Okay.
But Roy was incredible at Kansas. I mean, he was really good at Kansas. Never got the Jayhawks over the hump, but I think he went to multiple finals anyway. And then to take over North Carolina, and did he win 2 national championships? Ben, does that sound right? Anyway, Roy Williams, a guy I met at Summer League.
Okay. Give me Rick Pitino. I know
old Richard.
some people really like him. Some people really do not like him. His history speaks for itself. I mean, again, you're talking about, what was it, Providence in the early 80s, where he was the coach with Gordon Chiesa. You know, I mean, he has been around forever. You're talking about close to 40-plus years on the scene and coaching at a high level back in the Sweet 16 now. I just don't think you can argue that he really does have it. He really is an A-plus coach. He knows how to win. And has won in a lot of spots.
The next one I should pick, but I'm not going to. Man, I dislike a lot of college basketball coaches. I don't even like most of my own list. You know what? I'm going to go Billy Donovan.
That's how I was debating Pitino and Billy Donovan, and thought, if I don't get Billy Donovan here, you'll take Pitino, hoping that I would get Billy Donovan next.
I think he's been a extremely mediocre NBA coach.
Yeah, he's a bad NBA coach.
But to win back-to-back national titles, is he the only one to do it?
No, Krzyzewski did it, right?
Did he?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Oh, and Dan Hurley, of course, did it recently.
Yeah,
you're right. But anyway, old Bill Self. Or not Bill Self, excuse me. Billy Donovan.
Who should be the top target, in my opinion, for the Carolina job. But why would you leave the NBA if he's got a cake job in Chicago where they're happy for him to win between 33 and 41 games, which you can roll out of bed and do in the NBA?
Good times.
Why would you leave for North Carolina where you have to recruit players?
It's a good gig if you can get it.
And the Bulls apparently don't care, so they're fine with it. Is this my last pick? All right, I'll go with John Thompson, who was also only had one title, stacked rosters at Georgetown throughout the 80s, but just was like a kind of a larger-than-life persona during what's, I'd say, inarguably the best era of college basketball. 80s college basketball was as cool as it gets.
Very tall
and John
man.
Thompson was there. Huge man.
Very tall man.
Yeah.
All right, review.
Jake, you had the number 1 pick. First overall, you went Mike Krzyzewski, Dean Smith, Gino Auriemma, Roy Williams, and Billy Donovan. Ben went John Wooden, Tom Izzo, Pat Summitt, Rick Pitino, and John Thompson.
You know who I really wanted to pick, but I just couldn't do it, was old Tark the Shark.
Yeah.
I met him at the West Coast Conference tournament.
Did you?
Yeah. He was biting a towel sitting on press row. Not kidding.
Yeah, well, that's what he does. That was his
Apparently,
thing.
like, even when the camera's not on.
Even when it's not performative. Lute Olson.
That
John
guy
Calipari.
stinks. That guy stinks, too.
Neither here nor there. They didn't get drafted.
All right, what's the not sports topic?
We are going to go with best space movies. Project Hail Mary just came out. It's supposed to be really good.
And I have the
allegedly.
number 1 pick?
No, Ben does.
does. Okay. Is there an automatic number 1
I
pick?
do think Star Wars is the most obvious best space movie. Now, if you want to say I have to pick a single one,
No. You can
but
go.
I think,
I
yeah,
was
you
thinking
get the
about it. You
trilogy.
can go with the franchise. That's
Okay.
fine.
And not just the trilogy, but the 9-piece.
Yeah, you got to take the whole bag, I guess.
Whatever, however many there
No,
are.
I
More
mean,
than
just
9.
Star Wars. People know what you're
Star
talking
Wars.
about.
Yeah.
It's fine. Then I'm going to go with Star Trek.
Okay.
That feels like the natural one.
I have never seen any of the old Star Trek movies.
Oh, they're great with Bill Shatner.
Never seen them.
Like the Wrath of Khan. You haven't
I've
seen
never
that,
seen
or
it. And a lot of people think
or
that's the
OG?
best. That's the best Star Trek one.
Yeah, no, they're really good. They're worth a watch. I mean, I'm sure like most stuff from that era, it's going to be a little campy to look back on, but no, it's good. I never got into the Next Generation or anything like that.
The new ones are fun too. The Chris Pine ones are really enjoyable.
Yeah,
they're good action. All right, I will go then with I think is the next obvious choice, and might be my actual favorite movie of all of these, and I will go with Alien. I love Alien. It's Jaws in space, but it It's crazy that movie came out in like 1979, and you watch it today, and it looks like it came out this week. Like it looks so amazingly modern. The practical effects are so good. The lighting is so good. The acting is scary and awesome. So give me Alien.
All right, I'm going to go with my actual favorite, and I probably could get this later, but I'm not even going to risk it. Spaceballs.
I have it like 3 on my list. Yeah, I think I have
Spaceballs.
it next.
Absolutely. Yogurt.
Mel Brooks in yoga or in Yoda makeup is so funny.
Mel Brooks maybe plays the 2 funniest characters in that movie.
He does.
Because his
He plays
president,
the emperor.
He plays the president of the President Scrooge. And so funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
An obvious nod to another person historically. But yeah, he's so funny in it.
This sounds like the code an idiot would have on his luggage. Hilarious. All right, Spaceballs.
He plays yogurt, right? He does. He plays
He
yogurt.
plays both. He plays the president and yogurt. Yeah.
That's so funny. That guy has it. And they're making a new one.
Merchandising. I know I'm not going to see it because they're going to ruin it.
Rick Moranis is coming back to do it. Rick Moranis has retired from acting, but is coming back to do this for Mel Brooks, who's 100 years old this year,
crazy.
I think, and is still making movies. All right. I probably should get something a little more modern, though, again, I feel like Alien still feels extremely modern. I'm going to go with The Martian, though. I feel like, have I drafted this twice now in the last couple of weeks? The Martian is great. It is a really good story. It's by the same people who made Project Hail Mary, which I still have not seen either, maybe this weekend, but The Martian with...
we did best Matt Damon movies.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
And,
And he just,
that's where he took it.
It's a real humdinger.
Yeah, good luck with that. Apollo 13.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Tom Hanks had a pretty strong run in what would this be, mid to late 90s?
95?
Like kicking off with Forrest Gump, which kind of rebooted his career and doing all this sort of stuff. Apollo 13 was huge. It was 1995, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then goes into Saving Private Ryan not terribly long later. Yeah, absolutely. One of the great runs of all time. Certainly the best star of the 90s, I'd say. All right, I will go with the movie I hadn't watched until the last few years, and I knew the ending, and I didn't really understand why people liked the ending, and then you watch it and you recognize why it makes so much sense. Planet of the Apes is amazing. The original Planet of the Apes is so good. It's a little hokey, it's a little campy, but it's extraordinarily effective. So I'd recommend going and seeing Planet of the Apes.
Never cared for it. Never did. I didn't like the reboot either.
Well, the reboots are...
Tim Roth.
The Tim Burton one is one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah.
The recent run was better, but the original one I put off watching for a long time and then loved it when I saw it.
All right, and then I'm going to go with my heart here as well and say Space Cowboys.
Which I've never seen.
They didn't reinvent the movie with it, but I mean, if you want to see Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, James Garner, and Donald Sutherland basically playing themselves, it's pretty funny. Man, how many of those guys are still with us? Clint and Donald. Garner's gone.
But more than you think.
And
Some of those
Tommy
guys
Lee
have-
Jones is gone too.
No, Tommy Lee Jones is still alive.
Definitely
Is he?
not.
No, okay.
Tommy Lee
Never mind.
Jones is-
My bad. Sorry, Tommy. Tommy's still with us. All
Man,
right, so
that would
only
have been a sad one.
only one's gone. Only James
Yeah,
Garner.
it's crazy those guys are still up and running.
But that's like a feel good fun movie.
Third one's coming out this year. It looks awesome. We got another great movie year lined up. I'm going to take Dune. Dune rules. Dune 2 is one of the better movies of the last 5 years. Might be the best.
All right, we wrap up the show. Oh no, we've got to. I have one more. No, I do not.
I was first.
I thought I was done. What do I really want? And we've got a recap. Yeah, you know what? Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Which I'm not superhero movie guy, but those are good and fun.
We passed on some big ones.
Ben, you had the number one pick. You went Star Wars, Alien, The Martian, Planet of the Apes, and Dune. Jake went Star Trek, Spaceballs, Apollo 13, Space Cowboys, and Guardians of the Galaxy. I would argue Interstellar should be on there.
E.T.
2001.
2001: A Space Odyssey. Close Encounters, which is also wonderful. Yeah. It's just
Did you
a lot
ever
of great
see that
space movies.
movie Space Camp when you were a kid,
I did not.
where a bunch of kids accidentally launched themselves into space?
Event Horizon. I know that messed a lot of people up, scared a lot of people.
Lloyd knows what I'm talking about. Old Salzar in there. He's shaking his head. Yeah, like for certain age groups, Space Camp was a jam. Because that was the dream, right? You got to go to Space Camp and then you accidentally got launched into space.
Actually happened.
That'd be pretty cool.
I would take the Homer in Space Simpsons episode.
Yeah. All right, wrapping up the show next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airwaves, talking sports. They got it made, Jake's Alonso loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake, Scott, Ben, Anderson. It's a big deal. Oh, okay, let's do that first. I want to remind you about our friends at Beehive Meals, and of course, teaming up with them, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. I always want to say that. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. I had a huge career achievement today. My voice and Scotty G, we were included in Jerrod Calhoun's introduction video for the official one.
Which, you know what, they will play that video during his sit down with the media of look what a wonderful day this is.
Oh, I expect a call from their sports radio to get interviewed at any moment.
Hopefully
I'm surprised I haven't. But I couldn't remember where it was from, and Christian has spent the entire day instead of let's play it again. Yeah, why not? You think Calhoun's going to Cincinnati?
Cincinnati.
But we got to play the whole thing for context.
You were so willing to hear this over and over. I love it.
We've got to play the whole thing for context. I think we need to play the whole thing.
Likely going to be the target for Cincinnati. Makes all the sense in the world.
Coach Calhoun does it probably better than anybody.
Jerrod Calhoun's the guy. 1A, 1B, 1C right now.
It just feels like it's going to happen.
Let me talk to you about Jerrod Calhoun. There's a lot of ties and there's a lot of reason for a lot of people to want him to be the next coach here at Cincinnati. That's why I'm excited. He just seems like a basketball coach, man.
You think Calhoun's going to Cincinnati?
Cincinnati could certainly be in play.
I love Calhoun.
Calhoun is the one slam dunk.
Does anybody truly think it's not going to be Jerrod Calhoun?
All right, so there you go.
I think there was music for our show.
I think
there was
the
music.
There was actually a little Kevin in there too. So
it sounded like I don't think it is though.
I think it's got to be.
Who else
sounds like Kevin? Anyway, Christian, instead of playing like that's all day,
or doing his real job,
he's been now investigating where that clip has come from, and you've solved the mystery.
I have.
Okay.
So it is from the day that Cincinnati fired Wes Miller.
Okay.
March 13th.
Oh, so pretty recent. It was 12 days
ago.
2
weeks ago. Yeah. So you guys, it was one of the days where you helped out with Scotty G and friends. You sat in and you were talking to Scotty that day, but this is before Scotty G came on actually. So it was you guys on Scotty G and friends. March 13th.
So somebody was listening to our show, expecting to be listening to the Scotty G and Friends show because Scotty is the play-by-play voice of Utah State, thinking he would probably mention it, and then heard Jake instead.
You think Calhoun's going to Cincinnati?
They cut down your a little bit.
Oh, well, thanks to them.
They cut out some dead air there.
So was I right? Or does Scotty respond exactly with the part that comes in? Or did they bring a different part of Scotty talking?
No, this is this was before Scotty was on. Oh. So Scotty wasn't even on at this point. I'll play
because it does sound conversational in the montage.
Think Calhoun's going to Cincinnati? He went there, Christian?
I think so. He has been. That's it.
They're listening 24/7.
They are. Somebody's listening.
Big brother style.
It's not just Lloyd.
So yeah, you could tell it's conversational, but Scotty's response, Scotty's audio clip is from something different. I'll let Lloyd find that one. I'm not looking for that.
Interesting.
All right. Mystery solved. How about that?
Well done.
Did you know that Keith Hernandez still makes $5,000 a year from Seinfeld?
Off of royalties?
For
his
one episode?
One episode that he appeared in?
Isn't that amazing?
Good for him.
That'd be nice.
Can you make royalties off a 48-second long Twitter video?
10 words?
I should be. Heck yeah. Scotty G, fellow celebrity, coming up next. Stay tuned. 97.5, the
Christian.
KSL Sports Zone.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.